The 3-2-1, and let's do it.
All right, so Starport is on the way now after Seither's loss versus Probe doing the same sort of build. I mentioned, hey, what do you do after a loss like that? And I was kind of breaking it down. I was having to think about it out loud. And I was saying, I don't think you say my build is wrong. And it was very similar to this build that's Seither's on. But I did say you do want to go and look if there's a proxy pylon. If you check around this time for a proxy pylon, you find it, you actually basically deflect this build order. But the Adept keeping him very busy. Good scouting by TeebuL. And Seither, if you could sneak a Marine or an SCV around to check for this, I think that's honestly the way you scout this and deal with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And TeebuL's actually just keeping Seither concerned about his natural here. And I see this setup. He's like, is this a Stargate? I don't know. Got to have 4 Marines in the mineral line just in case. I've got the bunker at the front just in case there's a couple of gateways worth of pressure here. The Dark Shrine is, not held this way. You need the detection, you need the scans. It's also one of those things that you can just straight up win the game if Seither's drop mules fresh and he's got no energy for scans. Like, Seither will just tap. So a lot can happen here.
Just hit 50 energy on one of those orbitals, so we're going to keep our eyes on that orbital energy. Widowmine spotted heading on out. 2 DTs on the way, a third one potentially will be coming in right behind that. Does he have scans? Think he might have one? No, he's just dropped a mule. He's just dropped a mule. This is not good for Seither, and if that DT gets up the ramp, he's in huge trouble. There's going to be one in each of his bases. This is a disaster for Seither.
I'm in, says the DTs as they hack into the main and the natural, and Seither, he's kind of already boned a little bit. He's got 1 scan. And which DT does he want to scan? Looks like the one in the main, as that thing's been locked down with the SCVs.
Widow Mines could maybe do some counter damage. DT in the main will get scanned, but so far, TeebuL pulled his probes away from the natural and the main. Wow. And see, that's so much to deal with. He's not going to be able to save those Widow Mines. It's so hard to micro all this. And this is, the Raven's going to pop out, but he's already lost 20 workers, and he's going to even lose the depot in the wall, probably. This is an absolute disaster. Seither deals 4 probes of damage, loses 19 workers, and complete control of his base. Perfect play by TeebuL.
Yeah, we were saying that TeebuL can activate Protoss mode, and I do believe this build qualifies under that banner. That was some damn good damage for TeebuL for a couple DTs worth of investment. He's got to be feeling good about this. That said, though, Seither has made an army. There is something relatively scary in this force from Seither. If he can get the bunkers down and sort of like upgradeless bio push, he's got the Raven, so DTs aren't too useful here at all. There is charge on the way. When charge is done, TeebuL can break this army pretty handily. And he needs to stop bunkers from getting up as well. That's
2 SCV and 12 unupgraded Marines. So even just Adepts and Stalkers warping in, no shield battery just yet. It's a hard fight for TeebuL right now, but his follow-up is so much better than Seither's right now.
Yeah, you're quite right. The tank sets up, but that's a target fire right there for TeebuL. That tank is going to go down. Auto turret dropped here for the Raven to help him out with the DPS on the front line. Bunker, I don't know if it's going to get up, but the SCV is still working on it. The Marines getting pushed back, and Seither gets deflected. He does take 6 probes down. I think he might have been dropping the main in the meantime. Yes, he did. So, that's something, but Seither still against the ropes for sure.
Yeah, great multitask there from Seither. Unfortunately, it is from a disastrous position, and second barracks just now starting, or third barracks, I should say. 3 Marines building at a time. TeebuL's on 52 workers. He's building probes, charge +1, sentries, Templar archives. Looks like this kind of, charge response is definitely the next one. Did he skip blink entirely? Because I don't think he made it early on. So this was like,
no.
Wow, not even getting blink at all? Oh my, TeebuL. He was really just committing to a mixture of economy and those DTs and committing very hard to it. So an interesting way of doing this for TeebuL. Almost always you see people do this, and their blink isn't super fast as it goes down after the DT shrine, but you always start it before warping in DTs. TeebuL here is very much focused on just DTs into Charge Archon. It's a good way of playing.
Yeah, certainly. Charge and Archon is 2 of the scariest things you can deal with when you're a Bioterran in the early stage of the game, especially. The Storm is on the way here for TeebuL. It makes a lot of sense. He's got the Templar Archives, why not? And Seither just trying to macro himself out of this corner here, but he's consistently 20+ workers down, which is just devastating as far as income goes. And that proxy gateway is still up there for TeebuL as well. Like he's got the ability to warp in on the Terran side of the map still.
Double drop going to move out the right. Drop sitting next to TeebuL's main on the left side of the map. I think he has skipped the Robo all game long, I'm pretty sure. So TeebuL is, of course, cutting that Robo corner, which I think is one of the most powerful ways to do this, especially if your DTs do damage. There's just not that many things that punish you. Obviously, once the armory's up, you can't spot the Widow Mines, but dropping the main base is coming in while he unloads on this right side. Going to deep power the gateway. No blink, so he does have a nice mobility advantage. It's hard for TeebuL to really take advantage of this.
Yeah, like picking off medevacs and that sort of thing is a little bit harder here when you don't have blink, which is part of the reason why Protoss always get blink, is that medevac would probably be dead now, but it's not as we stand. Oh, third base wide open. Seither finding an angle here. That's a lot of dead probes.
Watch out for the side storm, though.
Oh,
Ouch.
some bad weather for the boys, but a lot of them survive and 12 probes go down, and I got to say that's a good trade for Seither in the end.
Indeed. He is still locked on 3 command centers, though, so it's looking more and more like Seither's going to have to do a 2-base all-in, and well, doing that up against Storm always sucks. It's just really rough. Remember, there's a gateway in your third base as well as Seither, so you don't deal with that. A few Zealots could warp in and backstab you very powerfully, very early on. Spotting pylons are going out. That's a smart move because TeebuL doesn't have the robo. He's only starting it now. He doesn't have vision, so he doesn't want to get surprised by any more drops, but he's back up to 65. He's got a giant army. He's got Psystorm. He's got feedback. This is a very good situation for TeebuL, and yep, those Zealots coming in once again.
Yep, that warp in over there, and there's only Widow Mines at home here at the moment for Seither, so he's going to lose a lot of SCVs, but Seither is pretty all in anyway. So let's see how much he can get done with that attack on the bottom right here of the map. That is where Seither has put all of his eggs into this basket. This attack at the third base needs to go really well for him to win this game, and there's a lot of energy on that High Templar.
That's just no Terran units, Maynard. That's like a handful of bio up against a real big Protoss army, so nice Widow Mine hits, but they will not make the difference. See there. This is very similar to his series against Probe. He's just not getting his feet underneath him. He's way behind from early on and really struggling with these Dark Templar openings.
And this is going to be shut down here. TeebuL doesn't need blink if the Marines are already there and they don't have a medevac to take them back home. So while probes do go down, that was an investment for Seither. That was quite expensive, all relative. And that means he's not got a whole lot left back at home. He's going to try and hold on here to a decent enough Marauder count and all that considered, but there are so many storms available here for TeebuL. The storms kind of hit the Widow Mines and don't kill anything, though, so it wasn't that bad.
I mean, Blink is finally on the way here, but it's not quite there, so yeah, he's able to run away for a moment. But he's gonna go down here, and I mean, there's just something about watching a man fight so hard from such an impossible situation from early on, where it's admirable, but it's also a little bit like, if you're a Seither fan, you're like, oh god, please don't get in this situation again. You're doing so many things right. I want to see you do it from not being really far behind.
Yeah, you can see that if the DTs at the beginning of the game didn't do so much incredible damage to Seither, it probably would have been a much closer game, or maybe even a Seither victory. Like, he's doing a lot of the right things. And initially earlier when he was attacking the third base while dropping the main base, Seither very good at multitasking in TVZ, especially, as well as TVP. This is unfortunately just one of those things where he's been on the back foot and hasn't been able to stabilize. Like you said, he's lost his feet underneath him and hasn't gotten back his footing.
Yep. Storms do take out those Widow Mines before they can fire. Archons are very tanky. He doesn't want to go up that ramp, though, as he doesn't have any Zealots in here. TeebuL in a little bit of a dicey situation, but oh man, look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Oh my lord.
Yeah, there's the GG. A bit of a frustrating game for Seither there. Hopefully he can shake it off. TeebuL getting a great game in the end. Well played indeed. Don't want to take that away from him. The DT strategy at the beginning of the game, a big investment, but definitely paid off for him. And Seither, it's got to be frustrating when you've got a very important match, a lot of money and also points on the line here. EPT points is a huge prize as you look at the season as on a macro level, the 2021 season here for StarCraft 2. And then you have to deal with lag. You got to remake the lobby, and then you get hit by DTs after the lag's fixed. And it's just a frustrating game there for the Terrans. So hopefully you can just let that one wash off you, like water off a duck's back. Start game 2 fresh.
Yeah, wax on, rage off. That's what they say, Maynard. The DTs are going to have to just, they just destroy. This is a build order. It's a pretty big commitment for TeebuL, don't get me wrong, and he just caught him off guard. This sort of build order that Seither's doing, very safe against everything except that. And if he just realized it was there, he just wall off the front with, well, I guess he doesn't have the front wall off at all, did he? So he would just have to, basically save his scans. That's it. You save some scans while building the eBay. You're fine. He dropped a mule right before it came in. And, it's already a little bit of like, oh, if you're not prepared, it's bad. But then there's also the luck factor of like, when it hits, if you're just hitting mule energy, you're in such a better situation. If you've just dropped them, so much worse. And he had the mixture of unprepared and bad luck.
I feel like that's the power of this, sort of Zest-inspired 2-base Dark Shrine thing, which we expand behind it, is that when it hits, the Terran really is just muling super hard still. Like you're at that phase of the game as a Terran. You don't have a third CC yet. You're just getting your barracks production in. You need a lot of mineral income. And every time your orbitals hit 50 energy, you're dropping a mule because that's all you're concerned about is getting your 2-base production ready for and just about ready to take a third base, which is also a big mineral investment. Meanwhile, the Invisible Men, they put on their capes, they shine their sides, and they walk into the natural and don't have any scans to worry about sometimes as a Terran. Sometimes having scan energy there means you're making a macro mistake. so it's kind of a weird dichotomy there between the Terran and that particular build order for the Protoss.
Yeah, indeed. It's always that weird one. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like he needs to recall to the main. Oh, he's been too good at chrono boosting. He doesn't have energy.
yeah. He's got to overcharge his shield battery. Oh, wait, no, it's he's been chrono boosting too well. Whoopsie daisies.
Oh, chrono boosted is +2. The crucial mistake occasionally. I mean, you already have to be in a bad situation, but yeah, it's that is just the way it goes. So a good way to start the series, and Seither's now got some fear in him. It's a best of 5 though. This is not going to be over as quickly as the best of 3 yesterday.
That's right. And we're going to take a short break, guys. When we return, it's going to be game 2 between Seither and TeebuL. We'll see you then. G'day, StarCraft fans. Welcome back to the Seither and TeebuL show, starring Maynard and Pig as side characters here, for the Dreamhack Masters Oceanic Rest of Asia main event. We're about to get into game number 2 to see if Seither can get a map on the board here against TeebuL, currently 1-0 up after some very cheeky plays in the early game, whipping out a little bit of zest action against Seither. I mean, I know that there's other Protosses out there that go the 2-base Dark Shrine, but I mean, that beautiful chiseled physique of Zest is all that I think about when I see those Dark Shrines come down nice and early.
Dude, the amount of games that he's won, even when he was losing with Dark Templar as well. I mean, Zest is like the wizard of Dark Templar, and he really did usher in a new respect for it. There was a period everyone was going Raven. Seither was planning to go Raven that game as well, but people were like, DTs don't work anymore. And Zest was like, well, first of all, yes, they do. Second of all, DT drop's great. Rushing DTs without the drop is great. Also, Blink DTs in the late game are also great. And since then, it's really been just taken on, and it's just one more complication for these Terran players to worry about. And no doubt, he's going to adapt. And it seems like the answer is to proxy his barracks. Up here in the top left in the red, representing Mind Freak Esports, this is Seither.
In the bottom right, represented by Exxon Esports, about to get the proxy himself. This is TeebuL.
Low ground gateway. So that does mean his units are going to pop pretty far from this main mineral line. TeebuL hasn't scouted yet, has he?
Not yet.
Ooh, greedy. Oh, man. I mean, not scouting is such a good way. Like, Seither has been a bit predictable. He's been taken advantage of time and again, and TeebuL is doing the perfect thing to take advantage of a Seither who's just going to sit at home on Romanticide, do a same standard Marine Reactor bunker opening. Perfect play to take advantage of a greedy player, just cuts a corner, bit greedy. Great way to play for TeebuL. But that Reaper's going to surprise him and could do a fair bit of damage.
It certainly could. And some probe damage would be a nice little confidence boost here for Seither after taking some early game damage in game 1. He'd love to fight fire with fire here. SCV coming in from a bit of a funny angle. TeebuL's paying super close attention.
And that Nexus not down just yet. Just fighting that SCV, expecting Seither to block it if he does try to run past. And indeed it is. So this does delay it. Adept does get chrono boosted, but that Reaper is about to pop. Oh, he's even going to add the eBay block to it. Wow. Really? He says, hey, I've already delayed it for a while. Why not delay it a bit more? Might even distract the Adept a little bit. Reaper going to jump up into that main base. He wants at least 2 kills here. Let's see what he gets.
One of them's already bruised. So that's a soft target there for Seither if he can get that deep. Good probe control from TeebuL so far. The Reaper's still looking for those probe kills. Going to get 1 here. And now heading towards that mineral line. There's the Adept. Oh, that Reaper needs to avoid the Adept shot. It is pretty low. TeebuL trying to go for the zone. Oh, that Reaper threads the needle and he's out of there.
Whoa, a whole bunch of Babe probes there, man. They were just full-on sheepdogging that Reaper, but the Reaper runs right past, does not even care. It gets right out. A very good start. Tons of mining time, as well as 2 probe kills. You're really, really happy with that as Seither.
Oh, and TeebuL's going across the map with his Adepts.
Oh, no. He does have a second one coming up here, but yeah, definitely taking a bit of damage. Ooh, okay. Another 2 go down, a total of 4 probes, but he does get one of the Adepts. Can his Adept do damage on the other side? No. Well, CC on the high ground. Very safe play. Good play from Seither. TeebuL here was banking on catching and being greedy behind it, and now this is a fantastic start for Seither.
Yeah, the Hellion coming out, go past the Adept here because the Adept really isn't a threat at all. That thing's not going to be able to break through the factory or through the depots. So Hellion and Reaper in conjunction, just like in a TVT, still a pretty deadly force to deal with in the early game when you only have a couple of units and probes to handle back at home. So TeebuL was working on a wall off, but he doesn't have it just yet.
Oh, he's got to shade that Adept. He's got to hurry.
Ooh. Yeah, one more probe going down. Looks like TeebuL pretty happy with just getting just having the Adepts on attack move here. The Reaper gets a look at the main base, sees the Stargate going down. That's very important information. And maybe one more probe.
Yeah, he could get that Reaper out of there if he wanted to, but does end up going down. Seeing the Stargate, though, quite important. And it is going to be a Widow Mine, couple Widow Mines, actually, in a medevac. So a 2 Widow Mine drop. Factory's going to build a Cyclone. Barracks are coming home. Of course, your production is delayed here as Seither. So as nice as things have been, if TeebuL opens up Phoenix, there'll be a good way of hunting down this medevac and re-establishing control over this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, the game is evening out here. As we do have the natural command center flying out for Seither. Phoenix on the way here for TeebuL. TeebuL kind of, I don't know what we call that, a soft contain.
He's annoying. He's going, come down here. Come down here with your 0 units right now. And Seither's going, nope, I will wait for the siege tank. Thank you very much. And having actually nothing behind his wall off Seither, his barracks took so long to get home. I think he was a little slow to lift that after his second Reaper. He's going to have to sacrifice a couple SCVs here. If TeebuL's quick to focus those, tank is not out yet, and the tank does not kill these units that quickly. Look at this, TeebuL. Oh, he's not focusing the SCVs. TeebuL, a missed opportunity, and that Widow Mine drop's now going to get him distracted.
And Seither could split the Widow Mines up too. He's going to go for the Widow Mine on the high ground over that probe line. It is in range of a few patches there. This is very smart from Seither as TeebuL's not realized. Oh my god, it only hit the one probe. That could have been way better for Seither.
Oh, it happened to get the transferring one. That's a real bummer for Seither, only getting 2 workers there. Thankfully, though, he doesn't get any SCVs focused at home, and those probes are a little panicked about that potential high ground. Oh, he doesn't notice it with the Phoenix there. That could fire again, and the next one could be huge, Maynard.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, I think maybe TeebuL thinks that the Widow Mine got loaded up in the medevac there. Yeah, this is... Oh.
Again!
Oh, it's actually a range. Oh, it's out of range of that patch still.
It's always getting the rallying ones. Oh, Seither needs to target that. It's a mixture of bad luck for him, good luck for TeebuL, but also he could have target fired it as well. So Seither, unfortunately, missing a bit of an opportunity, creates an annoyance, but it could have been a much bigger disruption in TeebuL's economic growth. And now I think the game's going to stabilize a little bit, and TeebuL not going to be as stressed out. He's got a 3rd base finishing. 3rd command center has not started just yet for Seither.
It has not, but this is still definitely a lot more comfortable of a game for Seither. His plan has mostly, quote-unquote, worked out. He's got himself a pretty secure 2-base infrastructure. He's got himself his 3 most important upgrades for Terran at this phase of the TVP, and his +1 attack, combat shield, and stim. And he's got medevacs as well, so gearing up for that attack timing, which is, I don't know, about 20 seconds away.
Yeah, definitely could be doing a big move out with that. And Colossus, charge +1. And those are all probably next on the menu for TeebuL, but they're miles away right now. He's got some sentries, some immortals, but as much as TeebuL's economy is great, for him, it's having 2 Colossi, having charge, having +1. That's when TeebuL is going to have a big army spike. If Seither can get in just before those kick in, he'll have a good attack timing. He also very likely will just build a 3rd command center kind of on location as he moves out across this map. But the Phoenix, a bit annoying here, as they will kind of pick off the reinforce from behind.
Yeah, I mean, an SCV is great. A Marauder even better. 100 minerals, 25 gas being picked off there. 2 supply, and nice to get those units. But the push through the middle of the map, unscouted at the moment from TeebuL, but I guess it's kind of indirectly scouted. You don't see anything at home for the Terran, so it's got to be somewhere.
Charge has not started yet, Maynard, and that's one of those things, if this kind of slows down, you're really going to wish you started charge here as TeebuL, but he's like, oh no, I just need to survive right now. He's chrono boosting his Colossus. He's ready with force fields on the left side of this. Oh, watch out. I think interference matrix on the sentries and stimming on top might be the move. We'll see what happens. Raven running forward. It's very vulnerable though. Oh, nice snipe by TeebuL.
And Seither, unfortunately, getting a little indecisive with that Raven, does lose it to the Phoenixes. That's a huge pick-off there for TeebuL. He's not out of the woods yet, though. He's got to buy time for those upgrades and just try and slow down the advance of Seither. His army is a lot more stronger than TeebuL's at the moment on the front line. The Colossus is here, but doesn't have extended thermal lance.
Yeah, battery overcharge comes in. Phoenix coming in for the lifts on those siege tanks, though. The Immortal Colossus Guardian Shield combo is very powerful. Phoenix there, getting ready to stop the drop. Phoenix need to get on top of that drop, missing some big chances to do some firing on that. And a really wild move from Seither to just move up into the main. The Colossus, the Stalkers there. All those Zealots, Immortals, and Sentries, though, are very exposed.
And the Marauder count high enough to actually pick the Colossus off, which is a very large unit to get there for Seither, a tier 3, 300, 200 unit. And he's coming into the natural as well with 1 dropship's worth of bio, which finds a sentry in the end. And these medevacs trying to boost out a dodge. The Phoenixes should catch up with him and take them down, though, if TeebuL commits. But he keeps the Phoenixes back for now. Oh, there he goes.
Just a little bit of miss micro from TeebuL here. He's kind of, obviously he's like, hey, where are they? What's going on? There's so much happening right now in this last minute or two. His charge and +1 are finally on the way, but look at that. Marines are now going to at least punish the Phoenix a little bit, but does secure the snipes on the medevacs. Charge +1 is done, 62 probes, and that very late 3rd base for Seither. Now he's got to feel his heart sink a little bit. Going to the next stage is possible for Seither, but definitely he's had the wind taken out of his sails a little bit. He's going to try to keep dropping, so some high-risk, high-reward maneuvers going to be the play.
Yeah, I mean, this is so risky, obviously because of those Phoenixes, but If he gets away with it, that's huge. The Adepts, if he's paying super close attention to the minimap there, he could send those Phoenixes over, but it doesn't look like he was watching. All right, this pylon will see it.
Spotted again, and spotted again. Definitely not going to be caught off guard by that one. See, this third's going to land here. TeebuL has a fourth on the way here. His army not quite in position. Phoenix ready to stop the rotation of that drop. Armor upgrades on the way now for TeebuL as well. Now, just worker-wise, Seither's doing just fine. It's just the upgrades now. He's got the armory finishing Ghost Academy, so he will be kind of building upon his force. Oh, he doesn't want to get caught out here, though. Those Phoenix could shut him down.
Oh, Seither's not looking at his army in the top right. He has to load up because of the charge loss, but that's when the Phoenixes just take out everything.
Yep. Oh, one big Widow Mine does land, but so many units are going to go down here. Bunch of Marauders being disabled. Zealots just chasing him down. They're so low. The Phoenix are going to pick up a few extra Marines as well. Oh, this is a resounding victory for TeebuL.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That was a really, really good little scuff up there for TeebuL. Seither still on the back foot in this game, unable to find an angle. Not a huge economic lead for TeebuL, but definitely a very powerful army lead here for the Protoss at the moment as he gets towards the Archon count. His upgrades aren't super amazing. If the game slows down a bit, maybe Seither can start to take the lead again. He continues to throw drops at the Protoss here. Phoenix is coming in and trying to get rid of those medevacs. Not a whole lot of Marines, so he's just got to dive, and get as many probes as possible.
Remember, there's no blink in this game. There's only 3 Phoenix, so the ability to stop these drops is very limited, and he's trying to stretch out TeebuL as Seither. Just feels like he doesn't quite have the numbers to do it right now. His Widow Mines on the left, of course, kind of obstructed by that cannon. And the upgrades are great for Seither. I mean, he's building a 4th command center, but the efficiency just hasn't quite been there in the last few fights, to the point where I think Seither kind of needs to... Well, I don't know. Part of me says he needs to keep dropping because there's 3 Colossus out. So if you don't have Vikings or tanks to deal with that, well, if you let him push into you, he's just going to shave off units for days. Like, you just can't win. If he attacks right now, front on fight, TeebuL will always win unless he's surrounded by bio, which with these numbers isn't even going to work for Seither. He's so far down in army supply. So Seither kind of needs to keep him back with drop play, but at the same time, he needs to wait till he's maxed out before he really fights. So Seither has to avoid a front on collision, and he just doesn't have anything out there pulling TeebuL home. TeebuL realizes he's got a big army advantage. He's going to try to capitalize on it right now.
And meanwhile, also keeping Seither busy with a drop in the main with his War Prism sending in some charge lots here. Oh, this does not look good at all for Seither. The army at the front for TeebuL, if it commits, I could see him just ripping through everything Terran-related on that high ground.
Oh, one small drop, but TeebuL not going to pull away just for that. There's just not enough bio here. So much of it's in the main defending the Zealots. Seither's so far down on army supply. This is a perfect moment for TeebuL to strike while the iron is hot. The Colossi there just obliterating this bio. Drilly boys, SCVs kill a Colossus. I've never seen that before, but unfortunately it doesn't matter.
Literally never seen that before in 10 years, approaching 11 of StarCraft 2, but it didn't win in the video game. TeebuL gets the victory there. Another one of those games where the player just sort of took control of the game and never really gave it up. There was never a moment in that game where I felt like Seither was doing particularly well, honestly, against TeebuL.
Yeah, the command center on the high ground necessary in the follow-up there, but it just felt like even though the Reapers did some stuff, maybe not quite enough. You know, I think about all the different follow-ups from that proxy barracks, and like there were openings, right? Like TeebuL had very delayed Phoenix play and nothing else. Technically something wild like a proxy cloaked Banshee to follow it up probably would have been a kill move on TeebuL because the Reapers did get some momentum. Lots of mining time, 4 probe kills in total, kept one of the Reapers alive. But then the Adepts actually kind of did a little bit of damage. It felt to me like maybe the barracks was a bit slow to fly home or something. And then this push here, it's so far to get down to this area for Seither, and he wasn't really able to reinforce his army, so it just kind of gets jumped on, cleared up, and that's always a big momentum swing for the Protoss. Yeah.
And, you know, this Colossus goes down, sure, but we have 3 medevacs worth of bio getting picked off as well. So in the trades in the end, definitely better for the Protoss. And honestly, I don't think there was a fight at all that Seither won in this game. Every engagement that happened, the Protoss seemed to come out on top in the end.
I think his macro was doing so well that it was kind of okay, but that catch we just watched, just the last previous fight in the top of the map where he got caught not looking at his army, that was like where it just went to like, oh, this is kind of unwinnable from here. Like he lost so many bio units, killed maybe a Zealot or 2. It was such a bad scenario. Whereas he was actually keeping up in the workers, his upgrades were progressing, despite his first timing push get held. Like his next step is always just executed to perfection. His macro follow-ups, his spending of his money, his adding his upgrades in order. It's always all clicking in. That's Seither, you know? He just kind of gets through his build order. He hits every little detail just right. He's got that attention to detail, but he's got to not be, I guess, taking so much damage and falling behind early. And unfortunately, 2 games in a row where he hasn't fully got into his element. He had a 2-0 to Probe yesterday that was very similar to this as well. He's got to now win 3 games in a row. TeebuL, I mean, he's got to feel very confident. He's got a lot of chances. He can throw out some silly builds right now if he wants to.
You are absolutely correct. He's got room to breathe. This is the moment where, as TeebuL, you could just get a little crazy, a little wild. And, I mean, even if you throw a map away, you're still on match point. And let's see if this guy can fight back and do the unthinkable here, win 3 in a row. This is Mind Freak Seither.
And his opponent in the bottom right, representing Exxon Esports, this is TeebuL. Tea drinking bull, both refined and savage, all in one Protoss package down here. And he's showing it so far in the series. He's looking really damned good now. Whoa, this doesn't look normal. Is this a 12 pylon? This must have been a 12 pylon. He doesn't have as many probes as he should have. He's doing a proxy Void Ray Maynard. He's doing a proxy Void Ray all in.
Yeah, that's the one. The 12 pylon, it can only mean one thing. Well, I mean, it can mean a few things, but it at the moment, it means Void Rays.
Almost certainly. Yeah, this is... I guess technically there's a few proxy robo all-ins you could do as well, but yeah, usually it's a Void Ray Shield Battery 1, and... Oh, see, the Scouting pretty... pretty standard timing. 18 Scout. Oh, sees the probe. TeebuL not being too sneaky there. He's going to put the pylon down right outside the base. Yeah, this is the most in-your-face version of this build. Marine is on the way for Seither. Oh, he saw the probe. I would not be building a command center if I was him right now. You can defend with it, but
he saw it, but I don't think he saw it, if you know what I mean. Like he went past the probe, he was in vision of the probe, but I don't know if he was paying attention.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Maynard. Stargate already going down 1 minute 54. Gosh, it's so darn fast. He does come down, checks for it, sees it with the Marine. Second deep at a wolf. He's just going to keep building Marines. Doesn't have a second gas just yet. Does cancel the command center. Second gas goes down, as does a bunker in a nice central position. Not really covering the depots at the front too well, but covering this right side. A little behind kind of where the factory add-on will be, though. But definitely will anchor it a little bit. This is going to be a very interesting scenario. A lot of people follow this up with Tempest after the first few Void Rays. Some people just win with the first few Void Rays. Either way, it's going to be Marines and Cyclones and eventually Vikings for Seither, up against Void Rays and a lot of shield batteries on the low ground to heal them.
Yeah, so even though Seither got that early scout there, he is not out of the woods yet. Going to be a tech lab on that factory, trying to push it back a little bit here, but the tech lab is still kind of exposed. You want to be heading towards, as a Terran, Vikings, and Cyclones with mag field accelerator. That is the dream scenario. If you can get those units up, then you can fight the Void Rays very well and trade with long range against those Void Rays. The Vikings outrange them, and the Cyclone lock-on has that micro potential and lots of damage output.
That first depot already getting damaged. He wants that, does TeebuL. He'd like to supply block Seither, but Seither wisely realized this was always going to be exposed. He's already got another one finishing up in the back of the base as this one goes down.
Yeah, the SCVs come forward here to repair the other depot. Too late for the second one, of course.
Oh, cancel that shade. Well done. Cyclone Viking on the way here for Seither. Hasn't started Magfield just yet. He's just focusing on his unit production for now. Just wants to get more Cyclones, more Vikings, more of these units on out. Cyclone locking on the Void Ray. Does push it back. 5 SCVs there on repair. Marines ready to defend as well. And, well, he said he was greasing up his Hellions. I hope he's greased up his Cyclones as well, mate, because they can get stuck very easily, and Void Rays with Prismatic Alignment make them disappear very quickly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And stuck around a little bit too long with that Cyclone. It gets burned down by the Void Rays. Oh, man.
That's really bad. That's really bad, because TeebuL's already transitioned out of this. He's going one base DT. DT Shrine is already up behind this. This is just trying to keep Seither busy. Seither, oh, nice lock on there. He's going to do some damage, but there's not that many shield batteries. He's just stopped at a minimal commitment. I think TeebuL will expand behind this. Right now, you've got one base of orbitals. You do not have an engineering bay. You do not have a Raven. And the thing is, this has become more common amongst the cheeses in the Protoss NA ladder at least, and I guess on EU as well. The Nexus goes up behind it for TeebuL. I mean, this you don't want to go out 3-0 like this either. He wants to hang on and fight on, but he's facing what looks like a very scary Void Ray attack, and after losing that early Cyclone, he's even more worried about the Void Rays when he needs to be thinking about the next step.
Yeah, he's hyper-focused on what's happening right now, not what's going to happen. He does get the Void Ray kills, though. So that's big, that's big. And that means he can move out and start, taking the natural back slowly but surely. But, of course, the Dark Shrine, that's a wrinkle. That's a wrinkle for sure.
Oh, he's got to start a Raven right now. No, he's going Cyclones and Medivacs. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I don't know, man. This is something which I don't think you see on the Korean ladder too much, where Seither does most of his practice. He does most of his practice over there. This is more of a kind of, foreign community special. Command Center goes down on the low ground. DTs are already walking in. I think this might just be at Maynard. He doesn't have any middle energy right now. That is going to be a sad way for Seither to go out. But TeebuL brought out all of his dirty tricks, and this is a disaster for Seither.
Absolutely unmitigated disaster for Seither. This series one that he's not going to remember too well and too fondly. As there it is, TeebuL, the Invisible Man, featured twice in this series to great effect. TeebuL shaking his head like, damn, I can't believe it. The Invisible Man, good unit.
Well, it's a risky build to do, but doing it when you're up 2-0, as I said, you can pull out some silly builds here, some clever builds, some tricky builds, and just do it with confidence. It works out perfectly. It's a good way to finish a series for TeebuL, and a 3-0, very, very dominant. I really, like I said, I feel like his openings are not just with the meta, they're a little ahead of the meta. I feel like he's been very intelligent across all the matchups. If, Probe was hoping to face Seither, I think he's got good reason to be scared of TeebuL. It's going to actually be a real tough matchup for Probe in that upper finals.
You are not wrong there. And while I would probably favor Probe a little bit, it is just a little bit. And we're getting a little bit of a look here at this very painful final game in the series for the Terran. TeebuL having the time of his life, though, sending in those Void Rays, finding damage. I mean, the Viking and the Cyclone, you can get it here as a Terran. It's very expensive, but losing these units is just catastrophic. That was unfortunate there for Seither.
Yeah, that Cyclone, that's inexcusable. I don't know if there was a bit of lag, his hand slipped, he clicked on the wrong thing, but that's one of those things where he's cursing 100% when that happens. Like, that's not meant to happen at this level, because it didn't get stuck by one of his units. He just didn't pull it back. You're meant to, the moment you lock on with that Cyclone, you run it backwards. Like, when you've been in this situation as many times as Seither has, I guarantee you that never happens on ladder.